I think it's interesting. This goes back to the interesting conversation about your background, right? There's actually a question that relates to this from Scott Cathcart, who's on right now. He says, I have a 14-year-old daughter going into her freshman year of high school. She loves STEM, trying to figure out her path. What advice would you give her in terms of fields to explore? And before I have you answer that, right, where I was going with this is that there's a real powerful story here about where the liberal arts and technical skills with data and data tools really are a powerful combination. And I point that out because, of course, in higher ed, we continue to have this silly conversation about the liberal arts or, specific skill training. And when we think about a field like data science, right, like it involves technical skill and know-how and tools, but really the thinking, you use the thing, your insatiable curiosity, right? Like that's what's driven you. Great data scientists have to have insatiable curiosity. What questions can I ask this data? What kinds of analysis can I perform, right? What other things am I missing? And my point about it is to do it well, I presume it requires an understanding of a lot of things. Like you have to be a multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary thinker. So going back to this question about how to advise, a 14-year-old daughter who has interest in STEM in terms of what field she explore, like what else would you say about that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to answer your question and everything you said in a cohesive way, which is using the example that Carol Dweck wrote about in her book Mindset. She's a psychologist at Stanford, and she basically compared the studying styles and the bravery that people have when it comes to choosing career paths from boys to girls. And she said that at a very early age, the majority of girls are educated to have a fixed mindset, which means that they are born with a fixed amount of intelligence, and that intelligence cannot grow and stretch, and that girls should try to stay doing activities and taking classes where they're already good at and they already showed their skills. And so do not try new things because you may get a bad grade and that would reflect bad on you. Whereas boys are typically educated with a growth mindset. That is, they are taught to be brave and take classes out of curiosity, even if they're not good at them to begin with, to learn the skills. So they're encouraged to fail. And the reason why this is so important is because science itself and data science are full of failure. Failure is so important. Like my friend Reshma Sajani wrote in her book for girls, Brave, Not Perfect, right? Educate girls to be brave, to take that class where they're not good at. After getting my BA at Brandeis, I ended up being accepted to Stanford with a Nobel Prize winner. And I was all happy, but it was extremely challenging because I didn't have the background that all these other people had. And I had to sort of believe in myself in a way twice as much as the people who had already known that they had those skills. But if you persevere hard enough and you have that mindset that you can grow any skill and you can learn anything, I think that helps girls enormously.